Big doings down in Newport. Good developments.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
You know, I often think, well, what about the viewers in Newport? They don't feel like we're down in Newport. But when you're up here in the city all the time, you know, it feels like you're going down in Newport. Although I will tell you, I can make myself woozy thinking about that bridge construction. Because I'm not, the other day I was listening to obviously I'm on the radio, the traffic report, and they say, there's a big holdup on the Mount Hope Bridge. And I literally found myself going, oh, I'm just, a little insight, just sharing, you know, we have a relationship. I'm not good with heights. I don't mind driving over bridges. I just don't like being on them for a long period of time. So hopefully, the bridge construction in Newport and Jamestown gets done pretty quickly, because we got a lot of summering to do down there. Great to have you in. The folks who are acquiring Newport Grand are here tonight to talk to us about what might be, or what they've paid to create. And I think it's probably going to be a great success story, so good stuff on that. Let me dig into a couple of things, though, that are happening around the world and here in our own backyard. You cannot ignore this story. Hostages are released, and President Trump, you know, has a success story to talk about here. There's no doubt about that. I don't know, however, how much we should be partying over this. 3 American citizens of Korean descent are coming back. Terrific. Their families are relieved. They should be. The administration's taking credit for it. They should. But who knows what kind of fickle beginning this is with Kim Jong-un and where this whole thing is going to end up. And I would just, before we start talking about what kind of deal maker and success story this president is, just take it one day at a time when it comes to North Korea. Of course, this guy is special. There's no doubt about that. I don't know why this stuff comes into his consciousness, but this is what drives him. Think about what he said in the middle of the night.
So I want to thank you all. It's very early in the morning. I think you probably broke the all-time in history television rating for 3 o'clock in the morning, that I would say. But I want to just congratulate. These are 3 great people, and congratulations.
Yeah, I don't think it's a personality quirk. I think this is something that you have to constantly measure when it comes to the President of the United States, because if it doesn't make him centric, and if it doesn't reflect on him, and if you're not feeding the beast, and if he's not satisfied that enough people are watching, it just doesn't seem to get done, or is not a high priority. And that's a sickness. That's not leadership. Just FYI, hate to burst anybody's bubble. By the way, I don't think it's the world record beater at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think his election win probably was. Somebody ought to tell him. He'll feel good about that. All right. Remember, everybody was up till, he couldn't believe it. Like, is this really happening? Even he was up going, oh my God, I got to do this now. Right? All right. Let's come home. Pro-Joe, hands-free driving law. This is, you know, a time has come, you know, in all good states, we have to be careful on the roads. Eyewitness News has the details.
It's dangerous to do now, but it will be illegal in Rhode Island June 1st.
We don't need statistics to prove what we see every day, and I'm sure that you do too. A frightening number of people talking, texting, and checking their phones.
Rhode Island is going hands-free. State police say it will be a primary offense, meaning having a phone in your hands while driving is cause for getting pulled over. And if you do get caught, it's a $100 fine.
We don't want to make money on this. We just want people to live.
State lawmakers have been working on this legislation for close to a decade and say the $100 fine will be put into the state's general fund for now. They hope, just like when the seatbelt law was enacted, people will start complying once they change their habits.
The message is simple. When you get in your car, put all of the distractions aside and concentrate on one thing. Just drive your vehicle.
Yeah, there's a little bit of here comes the choo-choo in all of this. You know, I don't need the DOT director to tell me how to get behind the wheel. I mean, there's a subtle line that public officials cross when they think they're leading. But there's a not so subtle mistake that the unknown colonel, as I call her, made at that press conference yesterday. I call her the unknown colonel because she very rarely comes out, has never accepted an invitation for this program or the radio program. She's the only leader in law enforcement, state or local, that's never taken a coffee with me or a bunch of media people because she's afraid of them. So that's why I call her the unknown colonel. But the unknown colonel made a mistake in this press conference last night that I thought was glaring. Here's the audio from the radio side.
We need you to drive family members and friends to do so as well. And we need you to call 911 if you see someone driving while distracted or impaired or in an aggressive or dangerous manner.
Don't do that. Well, at least when it comes to the cell phones, don't do that. I had a dispatcher email me right away when he heard this on the radio yesterday. The nuisance calls that they get to 911 with drivers, narking on each other, trying to get others pulled over. First of all, an officer's got to see the mistake or the transgression in order to be able to charge. What are the chances that the phone caller is... Okay, so you pick up your phone, which you're not supposed to be doing, to call on the person who's got the phone. Look, now listen, if somebody's driving erratically, that's one thing. If they're driving drunk or something, that's another thing. I think we all know the difference. But seizing the moment in the theme of the cell phone hands-free thing and asking people to rat on each other, A, is stupid, and B, is going to clog up the 911 system. So don't pay attention to that particular recommendation. But, of course, it's America. Do whatever you want. All right. And coming home here as well, the Senate advances the auto body shop bill. This is kind of interesting. I said at the top of the radio program yesterday that I really don't know sometimes who's telling the truth, the insurance industry or the auto body industry. They're always at loggerheads. The insurance industry tells us that Rhode Island is 26% more expensive than other states, including Massachusetts, for auto body repair, or the cost to cover auto body repair. And one of the reasons and the differences is that the aftermarket, which is this is what this bill is all about. This is about the aftermarket. The current restriction is 30 months, meaning you are protected. An insurance company can't demand an aftermarket part for 30 months after the car is brand new. This new legislation extends that to 48 months. The insurance company's got its panties in a bundle completely over this whole thing, saying that this is really, really bad news. This is going to inflate the costs, and they say they have only one mission.
You know, Dan, we're in the business to make money. We're not in the business to make our customers feel like they've been treated like crap. So we want to make sure that our customers get a good repair, get it done right, and then that they stay with us.
And the reason Mr. O'Brien was talking that way is I said, do people recognize in mass that if they have an aftermarket part that the car is, kind of crappy? And he's like, no, everything runs fine, things are sturdy. But the Auto Body Association says, not so fast. And by the way, the timing on the acquisition of a car is important here.
More people are leasing vehicles now, and so we're trying to keep up with the changing times. So your average manufacturer warranty is 48 months. Your average lease now is also 48 months. And the rub on all of this is that if your vehicle is 3 years old or 3.5 years old, and let me clarify that as well, this law is about from the date of production. It's not from the date you own the vehicle. So by the time these vehicles get into the stream of commerce, you've already lost about 6 months on this law to begin with. All
right, so look, nobody wants crappy parts in their car, but most of us are just traumatized after an accident. All we want to know, is it covered? Right? So these two parties are just fighting each other with this whole thing. Both make interesting points. I tend to lean with the auto body industry on this one, I think, but we're going to do some more work on this over the course of the next few shows. All right, our conversation tonight is about this headline. I thought this was terrific news that a local terrific company has decided that they are going to acquire this grand old property. And when we come back, we'll tell you all about it. Stay with us. Yes, I was pleased to see this news. Take a look.
Newport Grand building will be no more.
I don't think we'll be able to save that building.
as iconic as it is, I don't think we'll save it.
Wednesday morning, Carpionato Group announced they bought the building and the 23 acres it sits on from Twin River. The city assessor says the purchase was for a little over $10 million. Since Twin River is moving the casino to a new property in Tiverton, they didn't need this location anymore.
Oh, there's a definite plan.
Kelly Coates with Carpionato says they'll completely reimagine the plot.
Where you have retail, hotel, restaurant, office, and even residential combined in the same property, the property becomes stronger.
He told me, think Chapel View.
Over here you have 3 dorms.
He says the Cranston mixed-use development is exactly what they want to bring to the city by the sea.
A major tax generator, and is vibrant, alive.
Coates says they'll meet with neighbors over the next few months, break ground next spring, and hopefully open in spring 2020.
We want to see something more than is there. And when we're done, we hope to have between 800 and 1,000 employees on the site.
I have always thought, Mr. Coates, that the ride down the bridge when the traffic's moving is so drop-dead gorgeous to the right and the south, and so disappointing at the end of the bridge, don't you think?
Oh yeah, you're falling off the end of the bridge, but you see that.
It's kind of like, Newport, not so grand. Welcome in. Great to have you.
Thank you.
This is great stuff. How did it happen?
Well, Newport Grand, Twin River, decided to put the property up as surplus, and they wanted to make sure they had it sold before they moved.
Surplus means?
That not necessary, that they don't want to develop it, they want to sell it. So their partner, Joe Paolino, and they decided to sell the property and make sure it had closed prior to them moving to Tiverton, and that there was no hiccups. So they left themselves a buffer. They went public with the marketing of it through Newmark Knight Frank, a large national broker, and we were contacted. We told them we want to buy it, and we were the best bidder in their estimation. And we closed on the exact day we told them we'd close, exact amount we told them we'd close for.
Mr. Carpionato is a Newport guy, right?
He is.
So I mean, he's probably looked at that with a developer's eye, often thinking, right?
For a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. Every time, just like you driving off the bridge, a lot of people have said, wouldn't it be great if that were, and you fill in the blank.
Right.
Whatever it is you think. And so that's part of our problem, is getting our vision lined up with the vision of everybody who thought, wouldn't that be great if it were?
Yeah.
And so the building is so unattractive, that's a benefit. And no one is going to be sad to see it go.
No chance that'll be renovated.
I just don't see how that works.
Doesn't play.
It just doesn't play. And so...
What about the garbage place next door?
Yeah, the transfer station is a challenge. It's a challenge. All of the road network is going to be redone by RIDOT. So the great challenge for the for the bridge authority is you come down the free right, backs up onto the bridge. That's not a safe condition. They're eliminating that so that you'll continue on over the first bridge when you hit the island, and then you'll take a left. The road will naturally curve left right in front of the Newport Grand, and then take you back into the city. So you're going to eliminate that backup onto the bridge. So for us, the infrastructure is always the key. So we prefer to be at or on a freeway off-ramp.
So the infrastructure that is already planned is compatible with your program?
That's correct.
Have you adjusted what the DOT is doing based on your acquisition, or asked to do that?
No.
Or you don't have to?
No, look, the safety of the roads is primary. They're the boss, and we are secondary. We sit in. So we've had to modify our plan to set in with that. DOT plans to have many, many acres of surplus property made surplus as they get rid of a freeway. So the extension onto Admiral Caiaphas Road, that's going to be eliminated.
So it's not going to be Disney. I mean, the Providence Group actually had a plan. It's got to be 10 years ago now. I remember going to the press conference, and they just couldn't pull that off, right? They had some grand arch type of thing, and I thought that was pretty cool too. we're not talking Disney. You're not. This isn't a tourism destination development, but it's what? Or will it aid the tourism flavor of Newport?
Well, you just mentioned not liking what you see when you get off the bridge.
Right.
That sets the tone of what Newport is.
I agree completely.
And so we are going to change that. Also, we're going to have a spot where if you're vacationing in Newport or coming home at night, we would like to have an organic grocer right there of some national merit, and then other shops that blend in with that. We're never going to compete with downtown. Downtown is where you go for that great ambiance and environment. But we believe we can get office, retail, and restaurant, and we'd like to put 2 hotels.
Because the market demands it?
Okay, there's a demand for hotels in the market. And if you can come over the bridge and see them, everybody can figure out how to get to them, right? You can figure out in your car how to get to them. It's proximate to the entry to the community. It's a great spot. So if you can go to a hotel, and for most functions, if you can go to a restaurant right there that's on the property, if you can have office, and on your same property you can have hotel, restaurant, then my guests that come out to tour my office facility or for my meetings, then I can have meeting room space at the hotel, and I can have restaurant space right there.
Doesn't draw from the already business on Thames and the whole...
Well, Dan, it really doesn't, because if you want to stay on the waterfront, we're not waterfront,
Gotcha.
right? And we're going to have to invest a lot in making sure that area is cleaned up, because this is not the only property that is, I don't know, blight is not the only challenged property.
Right.
And so I heard your great defense about the transfer station, and DOT imagines about 30 acres being freed up, and we would be proximate. We want to invest with DOT in the roadway network to accelerate it, and PPP, public-private partnership, is what we would like to do with DOT to get the roadway network accelerated and done right.
Timetable?
We're going to permit through until, hope to have by April of next year all the permits finished, start construction then, and be open a year later.
Wow, so by 2020?
That's right, spring 2020 we want to open.
Wow, that's pretty cool. This is the same company, by the way, that is saving the Benny's properties. We haven't heard much, so I will tackle my guest next and find out what's going on. Stay with us. Before we get to any Benny's conversation, this is called The Row, or as the first version of The Row. You have an idea about 195. So you guys, Carpionato Group, are in competition, correct?
That's correct.
At 195. Tell me what you're trying to do there.
We're trying to do a live, work, play environment there, and we're negotiating with a major meds and eds company, group, to locate about 204,000 square feet of medical office, wet lab, and dry lab space in a mixed-use facility. We've negotiated a deal with an organic grocer to locate, with retail, with high-end residential that would service the meds and ed space.
High-end meaning?
Apartments that are, larger. They're not micro lofts. They're luxury apartments.
For sale or for rent?
Only for rent. And then,
is that a market, renting luxury apartments?
Yes, it is. So especially for our meds and eds user, where they would have, they're negotiating for 20+ corporate apartments. So it's a great amenity for them that they can have people to have extended stay there, and then we also have a luxury hotel with meeting room space. So if I'm working on the latest cure for some type of lung cancer, then I can have my research shown in our meeting room space. People can stay the night at the hotel there, and some of the researchers can stay in the apartments extended term.
So you got a symbiotic plan that feeds into this whole situation. Have you found the 195 process to be easy? I mean, you guys have developed in so many places I find the 195 thing to be completely puzzling. I mean, there's a lot of bureaucracy and not a lot of action. And the city of Providence has still not established a consistent rate card for what will be tax incentives and the like. The state and the city don't seem to be simpatico, or am I missing something here?
Well, they had a tough start. The economy was rocky, and a few of the people that tried to make a start there pulled out. And so they've been stung by that. So I think they're really doing their due diligence to make sure that the project is real. And so I won't call their process difficult. Every permit process is challenging. But I think they're going to do their due diligence. You want to make sure that 5 years after any vote, you look back and say,
that was a good one.
That was a good one. I'm proud of myself. What I did was right.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to.
Well, spoken like a true CEO diplomat. Let's just leave it there. Will this be a dominant project there? Will this more or less take up the bulk of what is that empty space?
It'll take up the bulk of the empty space only on the east side of the river.
Okay.
The whole west side of the river remains. And we are in between the two arms, the Point Street Bridge and the new pedestrian bridge being built that got delayed a year, we just learned.
Right.
And so we will be the amenity pack for the other side. So if you go in the jewelry district and you want to go to lunch, dinner, you want to shop, it doesn't exist by and large. There's no hotels. So we'll be the amenity pack for the west side of the river, which you can reach by walking either bridge.
Right. You got all that? We Rhode Islanders we can't remember names of roads, never mind east side, west side. But you can figure it out. What's going on with the Benny's replacement stuff? Are you guys on schedule and target? There are a lot of empty buildings that people are still waiting to see what the prize is going to be.
You know, the process is lengthy. So we're on process. We promised stores would be open for Christmas. We'll have stores open for Christmas. And it won't be the bulk or the majority. We've signed 79 letters of intent with national and regional retailers. And while the typical Benny's was 27,000 square feet, the typical stores that are moving in are anywhere from 10 to 12,000 square feet, so they don't occupy the entire building. So that's why there's so many letters of intent. We've actually signed about 7 leases, all with national companies. And, you know, for some of the neighborhoods are more economically challenged neighborhoods. And so you're going to see more, you know, value-centered retail, but we do have some exciting retail under
so you will
negotiation.
have some Benny's replaced by this Christmas season.
Definitely, absolutely.
Right. Well, listen, congratulations on the acquisition of Newport. That is something that I think most people are going to find to be a welcome sight, literally, a welcome sight. And I can't say how it doesn't add value to the Newport experience, because it is. When you come off the bridge, I think new people visiting probably go, really? And then you get down and you go, oh, I see, I get it. This will be really right away.
You're very right,
So
Dan.
good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, final word when we come back. We've got a provocative show tomorrow night. It's a good development story, no doubt about it. So he was only here a couple of weeks ago, but he's back tomorrow night. Giovanni Ferrosi, candidate for governor. He's in a brawl with the Providence Journal and the governor, which, you know, makes sense because he's thinking he's going to run against her. But we'll see if we can't extrapolate what's happening with all of that controversy that's been brewing tomorrow night. See you on the radio at 3 as well on WPRO. Have a good evening.